Tally ho, people! It's Will speaking from Just in Time Prepping. Hey, remember the other day when we were talking? Whoops, dropped part of my script. Anyway, we're going to talk about bartering. Let me get my foot up here because I'm trying to lose some weight, which you're supposed to do when you're prepping. And I got to put my foot up there because I'm on the bike. And we're going to talk about bartering tonight. So I'm going to do some exercise while we're talking about bartering. And it's always good to try to stay in shape because when the SHTF happens, you want to make sure that you're in the best possible shape that you can be so that you can take care of things in your family. So when I left you guys last time, we were talking about, I left you with two things to think about, and those two things were never give up anything that you're going to need when you're bartering. Say things like food or something like that. And the second thing is to think about bartering instead of things, barter yourself, because you may have some knowledge that one guy doesn't have. Say that okay, I'm Joe the electrician and I know all about the wiring and whatnot, and we know that if a disaster happens that you're probably going to be without power and you might need somebody to come and help you get some power to your home or to wherever you're bugging in or out at. So think about that, think about, instead of material things, barter something that you know as a skill, and then perhaps you can trade that. And it doesn't have to be that they give it to you right away. They may have like seeds and stuff that they're going to plant and they won't be ready until the fall, but they need your expertise in wiring right now. So you could say, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and get you guys set up so that you have a source of light, and when the harvest comes, then you can give me some of your harvest so that my family and I can live a little longer. Anyway, that's something to think about. And so that was the two things I asked you to think about, but the rest of the stuff is about bartering also. And we all know that when the system goes down, probably money as we know it, the paper money, probably going to be no good, They're probably going to be like good enough to use for a fire starter maybe. But I would be thinking about gold or silver myself. I've already started trying to stockpile up on gold and silver coins because those might be worth collecting so that you'll have something to barter with later down the road. Also, if you've been watching the news and whatnot, the dollar's not really doing that good, so we may not be using paper money very much longer anyway. So that's just something to think about. Another thing is think about all the tobacco products that are going to be needed, because when the shit hits the fan, guess what? The wheels on the truck are going to stop going around, and they're just not going to be able to deliver the items that we're used to every day without thinking anything about it. We can always just zip down to the store and pick up a pack of cigarettes or some skull or chewing tobacco, or nowadays it's that vape pen. So anything that has to do with nicotine, I would be thinking about stocking up on it. Like I myself, I don't use any of those things anymore, so it would be to my advantage to pick them up, and then I could use those to trade for other things. So also you should think about is the good old imbibing stuff, as the wheels on the truck stop, they're not going to be delivering the good old vino to people, So you may want to stock up on some of that. And you know, it's the boxes of booze and whatnot are pretty heavy. So even though I don't drink or anything, I walk into the liquor store and I get those little bottles, the shot bottles, and I just toss them into a box and call that my stash, my cash stash. And so that's a really good thing to think about, you know, those little things that people don't think about, you know. Another thing I was thinking about the other day, and I really don't have it written down, but I was thinking about it is, and you can get these at the dollar store, is how about those glow sticks, you know, because we're not going to have electricity and whatnot, so those glow sticks are at the dollar store $1 a piece, you know, break them and you've got light for a little while anyway, you know. So I'm going to start stocking up on some of those items too. I think that would be a good idea, you know. So things just kind of pop in our heads as we're not thinking about it. But if you start thinking about what's going to happen when our conveniences aren't going to be there, then that's when our mind really starts thinking about, oh, what am I going to do this time, you know. So think about that. Another thing is ammunition. You don't I'm not going to sell or trade any of my ammunition that I have for my weapons, but I'm going to be picking up some ammo for firearms that I don't own, and I can use that to trade with too. I'm already starting to get some 22 shells, and I throw them in those little 12-ounce water bottles and seal them up because it's airtight and they can't get wet and go bad on me. And then a whole bottle of those would be like money, you know, you could trade it for something. And the other thing is medications. Now, although they probably have expiration dates on them, if you get sick, I would be willing to trade an expired medication even to try to make myself feel better. So, you know, if you have a medication, you don't take any more antibiotics or whatever, just throw that off to the side and try to keep the weather out of it, keep the air and the water out of it, and just save it because it may come in handy, if not for you, for someone else. So there's another thing. And then I have a list here of a lot of stuff that are just little bitty items that are dollar store stuff or even stuff at Walmart that's not going to be cost very much, but just to have in a box or a bin or something like that for tradables. And we'll start with seeds, you know, because seeds, we're not going to know how long we're going to be down or anything, so seeds would be a good thing. We may have to plant a crop to feed our families. Another thing is coffee and tea. They're going to be a commodity. The wheels on the truck are going to stop, and I have to have my coffee, for God's sake. I don't know how many of you need the same. Spices, seasonings, and sugar, like sugar, flour, pepper, salt, even those little bottles of bouillon. Those would all be terrific things to stash away and make sure that you can use those for bartering with. So, you know, I am a firm believer that there's going to be more stuff that I can add to the list, and I'm sure that you guys can probably think of stuff that I've forgotten. But, you know, that's the beauty of YouTube, is I can ask you to leave your comments down there in the comment bar, and everybody can add to the list for us, and we'll just create a super list, so to speak. So, you know, it's the reason I did this was so that I could get enough people together to make a super list and to get everybody thinking about what would happen if something serious was to happen, a disaster, or God forbid somebody drop a bomb out on the East Coast and everything goes to hell on us or whatever, you know. So these are things that I started thinking about, and I thought, well, I'm just going to put it on YouTube, call it Just in Time Prepping, and hopefully get a community together that can help me compile the super list of things that we need to have in order to survive when the grid goes down. So that's about all I have for the bartering, but the next time I do a video, we're going to sit here And I'm going to show you how to make a Faraday cage, because if the grid goes down, heaven forbid it would, but if it is, either our guys or somebody else's guys or whatever, they may decide to do an EMP on us, and then that would just really knock us for a loop. So with a Faraday cage, you can drop all your electronics into it and it'd be safe from an EMP attack. So I think that's a really good thing that we need to consider. Everybody should have a Faraday cage. They're very easy to make, and I'm going to show you on the next video. We're going to sit down and I'm going to make a Faraday cage, and that will hold all of my cell phones and any other electronics that I think would be important to keep from being taken out by a EMP, like a transistor radio. We may really want to hear from the outside world. So if you guys can think of anything, see, I quit going round and round on the pedals because I got tired. And if any of you know me, I have COPD, so it doesn't take long for me to get tired, but I still need to work on this. So I go around and round till I get tired, and then I stop. So I want to just thank you guys for listening and watching my video and any of my videos. And please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget that I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/Shutterboy2016. I'm also on Twitter at BillIsPatreon, and also on YouTube at Will Russell. And below that will be Just in Time Prepping, and eventually when I get enough subscribers to get a custom mural, it'll be Just in Time Prepping. So if you want to donate to the cause, that'd be great. I'm not going to tell you have to. You can listen to the videos and do whatever you need to do to help me prepare or whatever, but I'm on patreon.com/Shutterboy2016. I would love for you to go over there and become a patron. For as much as 3 cents a day, you can help me out. If not, just feel free to keep watching the videos and helping me compile the list that we're going to need in case we have a disaster. And that's about all I have for tonight, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm enjoying doing them, and sure enough, we will get her done. Tally ho for now. See you on the flip-flop.